Today in crypto land, the altcoin markets are finally getting a bit of respite as Bitcoin dominance falls. Chinese Bitcoin miners may be in big trouble, and the criminal banks just can't stop committing crimes. Now, before we get into that, I want to let you all know that I will be attending Block Show Asia in Singapore on November 14th and 15th. I'll be taking part in a panel discussion during the event, as well as interviewing people and blogging from the event and all that fun kind of stuff, and also hosting a meetup on the sidelines of the conference, hopefully with a few other crypto YouTube favorites who are also attending the event. Conferences, they're an awesome way for you to get out and meet like-minded people and to network with some of the biggest names and personalities in the cryptocurrency industry. The team at Block Show have given me a discount code that you can use to get 70% off of the price of your ticket. It's not a referral link. I do not receive anything if you buy a ticket using that code. It is just a sweet offer for you to be able to get a great price on the conference ticket. That is, of course, if you're in the neighborhood and come over to Singapore for the conference. The offer for the discount ends on September 25th. And also the dudes from BIDAO, which as previously covered is like MakerDAO, but for the Binance ecosystem, have finally made the big leagues by getting a retweet from the official Binance account. There's a link down below if you'd like to get some more information about what BIDAO is and how it works. That one is a referral link. So, on to the crypto markets. Bitcoin today, Bitcoin's chilling. 1 million Satoshis for $102. Total deal if you ask me. But the real action is happening in the rest of the market. Ethereum, XRP, and many other cryptos were solidly in the green today. Meanwhile, Bitcoin dominance has finally retraced a little bit, down 3% in the last 2 weeks. This is finally giving altcoins some room to breathe. And there is a decent chance that between now and really probably a few months out from the halving, that Bitcoin could be ranging in that $9,000 to $13,000, $14,000 zone. If that actually ends up being the case, then it will likely mean that there will be a lot of action in the cryptocurrency markets outside of Bitcoin. Although the launch of backed futures contracts for Bitcoin next week could really shake up the markets. I ran a poll over on Twitter yesterday, and it seems that 40% of your peers see backed as a bullish event. But perhaps more interestingly, 41% of people either don't care or simply don't want to see Wall Street getting involved, with only 19% of people being generally bearish about backed. I think that in all likelihood we'll see the effects of back on the market be more of a slow burn versus an instant moonshot. But it's crypto. I'm ready for anything. But make no mistake, the cryptocurrency market, it is way more than just Bitcoin. Bitcoin's great. I'm a big fan. But Bitcoin maximalist rhetoric has honestly reached like a fever pitch in the last few weeks. That kind of sentiment alone made me feel that the rest of the crypto market is probably poised for some action. There is so much innovation happening outside of Bitcoin right now. So much is being built that will fundamentally alter the way that we exchange value. If you only invest in Bitcoin because you see it as the safest option, or you don't have time to look into other projects, I get that. I totally do. It's simple. Stack sats and chill. There's a reason we say it, right? But if you think that the rest of the crypto market is totally useless and there's zero innovation going on elsewhere, then you need to get out and do some more research, because you will be very surprised about how much innovation is happening. It's crazy. Still though, most cryptocurrencies are down by insane amounts from their all-time highs. This is true. Ethereum is down 85%. Monero is down 85%. But don't forget, Bitcoin, it's still down 48% from its all-time high. Perspective here, guys. The crypto markets outside of Bitcoin are going to see massive gains in the years ahead. Just wait until Bakkt decides to roll out Ethereum futures. You don't think that's going to happen? That's going to happen. It's just a question of when they're going to do it. But if you are building a portfolio with altcoins, make sure to spend a lot of time hunting down the quality stuff. There are a lot of projects out there that were popular a year or two ago that, to be honest, are now effectively dead in the water from either running out of funding or a bad market fit, failure to deliver the tech, the developer got hit by a bus, all the way to straight up just scamming. But there are some projects that are amazing, high quality projects with really passionate teams out there that have been doing amazing work during the bear market and are coming out stronger than ever. So question for you, if you had $1,000 to put into just one altcoin that you had to hold for 5 years, which coin would it be and why? Let me know in the comment section down below. So moving on to China. China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region is carrying out an inspection to eliminate illegal Bitcoin mining operations in the region. The inspection is being carried out as part of a directive from the central government. According to the report, the move reflects the nationwide phase-out plan of Bitcoin mining, basically by targeting the lowest hanging fruit first. The raids will specifically target any Bitcoin mining operation that tries to cut sweetheart deals with electricity companies and those which are claiming tax breaks by pretending to be a legitimate user, particularly those who are claiming to be, big data companies or cloud computing hosts. These guys are all in the crosshairs. But existing Bitcoin mining businesses, they're not being spared here either. Those that pass the inspection will be categorized as limited companies and will be forced to pay the official electricity rates and will be prohibited from negotiating with power stations directly. And without those kind of deals, it will be very hard for some companies to maintain their high profitability. And even if they are turning a profit at those higher rates, then those companies, according to the report, are still expected to shut down their mining operations in the near future. Slowly but surely, it seems that Beijing is pushing the Bitcoin miners out of the country. I guess that will, though, put an end to the China controls Bitcoin narrative that's been going around. But even before this happened, Bitcoin miners had begun migrating abroad, as has been reported by the smuggling of mining machines into Iran, for example, where they have super low energy prices, or the heavy investment into Quebec, as an example, and a more recent report about the growing Bitcoin mining industry in Siberia. Now look, Siberia has been steadily growing as a Bitcoin mining powerhouse for a long time. Central Russia has lots of abandoned or underused Soviet-era infrastructure like hydroelectric dams that are simply running at a fraction, or were running, I should say, at a fraction of their capacity, but now are enjoying a second life powering cryptocurrency mining facilities and are doing so at incredibly low prices, which of course miners love. The cheap energy combined with the naturally cold climate of Siberia, which of course helps save on cooling costs, is turning Siberia into an international mining hub. Bitcoin miners, they always find a way, don't they? And on to the big story of today. Our old friends, the bankers. They're back in town, guys, and they're back in the news. Now let's start off with Wells Fargo, the bank which has in the past been caught laundering money for the Sinaloa drug cartel. Last year they were fined $575 million for fraudulently opening accounts for customers of the bank without their knowledge, and also for scamming customers on car and house loans. And then in July, Wells Fargo decided to ban their customers from being allowed to buy Bitcoin. Can we just pause there for a second? I can't believe Wells Fargo still has customers after all of that nonsense. Also, isn't it funny? You can take your entire life savings, go to the casino, put it on black, and the bank will do nothing to stop you. But God forbid you should want to invest in Bitcoin. You end up getting treated like a criminal. Which is funny, because Wells Fargo, is a criminal institution. Well, anyway, so those guys, Wells Fargo, they have announced that they are launching a crypto stablecoin. Of course they are. The only thing banks really hate about Bitcoin is that they cannot control it. Well, that and the fact that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies more broadly represent an existential threat to banks and their entire business model. But that aside, the underlying technology is actually something which is of great interest to banks. If they can find ways to control that flow of money by launching their own digital assets, then of course they're going to do it. But that's not really crypto though. Private networks running within banks, that's just a bank scam coin pretending to be a cryptocurrency. Then we have this great little tale from our buddies over at JP Morgan. You know, the bank which was fined for manipulating the metal markets in the UK, the bank which was fined for manipulating the energy markets, the bank which was charged in the decade-long bribery scandal in Hong Kong, the bank which has been caught laundering money so many times. Who can keep count? It's ridiculous. And of course, let's not forget that billion-dollar cocaine shipment, which was just quietly swept under the rug among the host of other activities of crime and fraud and really general scumbaggery spanning decades of this commercial bank. Well, JP Morgan, that's who they are, and they're at it again. This time they are in trouble for rigging the metal markets in the USA. They just can't help themselves. JP Morgan traders were making millions fixing the markets in their favor, while at the same time, their own customers, the own customers of their bank, were being hosed with losses in the tens of millions as a direct result of JP Morgan's market fixing. No matter how many times they get caught, no one goes to jail. And the fines that these commercial banks pay are often just a fraction of the profits that they made from committing those crimes. These commercial banks are criminal enterprises. In the crypto context, particularly JP Morgan, the bank has been blacklisting cryptocurrency startups and refusing to open checking accounts for cryptocurrency-related businesses. And the funny thing is, of course, that Jamie Dimon came out calling Bitcoin a fraud. I suppose to someone like Jamie Dimon, Bitcoin must seem like a fraud because it's transparent and it cannot be controlled and manipulated. Must seem like a fraud to him anyway. And then, of course, shortly after making those statements, JP Morgan launched JPM Coin. I get the feeling that Fargo Coin and JPM Coin, they're going to end up being tools to help these banks launder money even more efficiently than they currently do. And the whole time that they're back there laundering money in the background with their own scam coins, they're going to be out there yelling, Bitcoin's bad, Bitcoin's responsible for all the ills of the world, and it's money laundering and terrorism and all the bad things you can possibly imagine. Banks. The pattern just keeps repeating. Criminal banks trash crypto, they restrict access to it, and then they launch their own scammy bank coins. That's what banks do. What a bunch of dirty, lying crooks. Cryptocurrency is the biggest threat to their business model, so of course they have to come out against it. But it's not all banks everywhere. Remember, of course, that the Norwegian bank last week bought around 20% of a Bitcoin exchange. So that's kind of cool, but that's a rare story. When we talk about the world's major commercial banks, they're almost all unified in their vilification of cryptocurrency. And they should be scared, because Bitcoin means that you can pay anyone, anywhere, at any time without having to ask the permission of your bank. You're cutting out the middleman. It's truly unstoppable money. We have MakerDAO and soon BuyDAO, which basically allow you to make loans to yourself using your own capital. No KYC, no credit score, no ID, no questions, no interviews, no BS, just there is your money. Compound Finance allows for peer-to-peer loans using smart contracts. Companies like BlockFi, which by the way just removed its minimums for deposits, lets you earn 6.2% on your Bitcoin annually. Crypto.com lets you earn up to 8% on Bitcoin with a premium account, and up to 12% on stable coins. 12%, that's crazy. No bank anywhere is offering such generous rates. Is there a risk with these platforms? Yes, of course there is. But let us not act like there is no risk in holding your money in a bank account either. Remember the bail-ins in Cyprus? That happened. Banks took depositor money to cover their own asses. And many countries have bail-in laws. In Europe, the Bank Recovery and Resolution Directive was introduced in 2014 across the EU, and it includes a bail-in mechanism which aims to ensure that bank shareholders and creditors, including uninsured depositors, aka your average Joe, has to pay their share of costs. In fact, the USA and almost all G20 countries and many more besides them have bank bail-in clauses now. Funny how the banks make billions and billions of dollars and share none of that bounty with their depositors, but when the banks gamble and lose, suddenly you need to pay your fair share of the costs. And when they crash the economy again, and they will, of course they will, it's what they do, they're going to say, but we're too big to fail. They're going to take money from your bank account. They're going to take money from your taxes. This one thing alone is a reason to hold Bitcoin. And when you realize that that just one thing is a reason to hold Bitcoin, and there's 100 more reasons besides that, I love Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. Yes. Anyway, just my 2 Satoshis, guys. You will let me know what you think about any of these stories down below in the comment section. As always, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did appreciate it, I would appreciate a thumbs up on that video. That'd be super, super cool. And if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.